Okay. We're going to kind of be quick with the formalities because we already know why we're here. You see the title. You know what time it is. You've seen the live reaction. Also, for those wondering why I didn't put the actual episode while I was watching it in the video, copyright is the short answer. And we're going to keep that short because this entire video probably may be longer than any other SNAFU episode review I've done because we got so much shit to talk about. And I'm probably going to talk about things that build into the episode while also talking about the episode itself at the same time. So let's just kind of hop into it. First thing is first, out of the three characters, it is now made obviously clear Yuki Noshita is the least developed emotionally. Now, and it's not even that she isn't developed emotionally, she just has it backwards. I'll put it that way. I mean, kind of one of her, I wouldn't say her biggest, kind of one of her more defining characteristics is that Yuki Noshita seems way more mature than her actual age implies, and that's kind of the problem with her character in itself. She's like one of them girls who's like, you have, let's say you're going on some type of trip. She's the type of girl who plans out everything about how getting to the trip to getting back to the trip, but doesn't know how to drive a car. Like, she's one of those. Like, she knows where she's at most of the time. I say most of the time because as we've learned in the season, she is not always right. But usually she's about a good 90-80% good with her routes. But like, she won't even turn the fucking key in the car. Like, that's like Yuki Noshita's major character flaw. She sucks at just starting the shit. And this episode kind of really shows is like, Hikigaya has moved up in his progression because he's willing to at least admit that he wants to get somewhere. He wants to move from the stagnation he feels like he's stuck at. And it's in the scene was fucking beautiful. And a lot of people, here's the thing about the second season people gotta understand. The second season is way more of a character analysis versus the first season, which is more of a societal analysis. The character analysis is because you've learned to like the characters, and you also have to understand SNAFU is one of those shows that you gotta see like all the little itty bitty details. It's not like the simple, oh, this scene just blatantly tells you what it is. You gotta watch every fucking thing. So there are certain things that people don't catch, which is why I said I wanted the series to have a dub, because this is one of those animes that, like, the subtle hints and the way they speak and the changes in their voice tone and patterns, which a lot of people haven't even picked up. Because a lot of people still say that Yuki Noshita is relatively emotionless. That's not the case. You kind of have to, like, watch her. Like, and I mean watch her. I don't mean this fucking, oh, I see her. No, I mean you have to watch Yuki Noshita to really catch her character. Like, the full skew of emotions in her character. And from what I heard, and from what I've somewhat spoiled, you'll be seeing it becomes a little bit more obvious in later episodes. I'll say that much. It also depends on how much they adapt from after Volume 9 is done, how much they're going to adapt for the last three or 2 episodes. I don't know. But we kind of get hit with that truth sauce from Hirutsuka Sensei for the first half, and we get some indirect flirting, which then brings up everyone in the background like, oh, you'll show the fucking Sensei X Hikigaya scenes, but you won't show the fucking Kawasaki scenes. And I'll go ahead and say it now, the reason why they probably showed her is literally just because it's integral to the plot, versus Kawasaki, where almost all of her scenes have been inconsequential. Because the whole goal of the show is not to be a stereotypical romance show. So to show when you look at the light novels are way more traditional than what it lets on to be. You have what? Kawasaki, who has some slight what the fuck kind of feelings, Yuki Noshita, Yui, Hirutsuka, Iroha. That's 5 fucking girls. Doesn't that sound kind of standard for this type of show? I think that's the reason why the anime took this route with it. That's besides the point. So Hirutsuka's slapping him with some truth, and the truth of the matter is, it's like Hikigaya is still avoiding the situation. Like he's starting to come to the realization. He understands that he's been fucking up and he's been wrong, and then his ideals aren't the best way of handling things. But like Hirutsuka hits him with, well, ask yourself this: why were you worrying about their feelings in the first place? And then the answer is simple: because you cared about them. That's what it is. And then I think the line at the end is what killed him, because she was like, "You gotta struggle, agonize, grieve, whatever the fuck. But if you're not putting in some effort and you're not struggling, then you don't. How can you tell it's real?" And he's like, "Well, just because you struggle doesn't make it real." Yeah, true, but at the same time, if you're not struggling for it, you don't feel like it was worth a damn anything. If human emotions were so fucking easy to read, there'd be no fucking... You would never feel... It's like what he says in his inner monologue right before he's crying and before he actually says the line. He's like... What was it? He's like, he hates those type of... He hates the fact that he wants to have a selfish relationship. But even hating it, he still wants it. And if they want it too, and you have a mutual understanding that you want it, then it's kind of okay. It's not easy. And making friends will never be easy. And even people who say they have a whole bunch of friends, they don't have friends. They have these superficial fucking relationships. The thing you hate is what most people have. And what we want is what you want, which is a genuine relationship. The problem is you gotta find the right set of people who is willing to deal with the right set of shit that you have. And as you say, and as Hikigai says in the monologue, you don't have to fucking fully get why I do the things I do. But the fact that you see the worst and best sides of me, and it's like, well, that's fine, he's still my boy. It's kind of like why some of those animes that have friend characters who are like exact opposites. That's why that shit works, because that is a thing. You don't have to accept a person specifically for every, like, you don't have to click on everything. But as long as you can accept the shit that you don't care for about that person, along with the things you do, and take all that in, and they can do vice versa, that's a genuine relationship. The problem is 90% of human relationships in the world are not that. They're just kind of like pseudo. It also is kind of a good explanation why we have a lot of situations in life where people deal with a whole bunch of bullshit that most people looking in go, there is no fucking way in hell you should be putting up with that shit. And they're like, but that's the person I care about. And that kind of doesn't make sense to you. I know some people have had that where like you see somebody do something absolutely ridiculous with this other person. You're like, why the fuck would you do that? It's like that's how we are. And it's like, that doesn't make sense. Well, that's their relationship. They understand that they're pieces of shit in certain aspects in life. And they're cool with it because that's how they are. Even the scene with fucking... And that's what I thought was really good, is like you had this like entire episode of him just questioning himself. He's like, why? Because he doesn't... Because even though we got it as a viewer, there was a good section of that episode where you truly understood. Hikigai doesn't get it. We get it, but he doesn't get it. So now we're waiting for him to catch up with us. And he still hasn't fully got it, but he's making the step to go, please help me. But if you also notice, that entire conversation wouldn't have even have happened without Yui. He had at least resolved himself to fix the Iroha situation, but he didn't know how to approach their situation. Because if you notice, the original reason why he even came into the club was, help me with Iroha. Because he still doesn't know how to initiate those conversations and talk about what he really wants to talk about. Yui had to still push that. And why? Because, see the thing, and here's the thing about Yui. Yui's necessity is banked on how bad the other two are about it, of talking to each other. The reason why she probably hangs closer with Hiki than Yuki Noshita, and a lot of the scenes we've seen since like halfway through season 1, is primarily because, as I said, Yuki Noshita is so emotionally far ahead, she forgets to fucking take the first step. And that's why she ends up in this weird stagnant position where she's not really stagnant, but she feels stagnant because she keeps going so ahead of herself, she won't just fucking walk. Like, her biggest issue is, like I was saying before, she doesn't say anything because her biggest problem is just taking the first step. Almost every issue that's brought them closer has been because either Hikigai or Yui has done something. Because Yuki Noshita sucks at taking first steps. She can only get a little bit better. Even when going back to something as basic with the stupid tennis game. With Totsuka and Yumiko and Hayato and shit. When Yui sprained her leg, did Yuki Noshita come out there to save her? No. fucking Yui was like, please help us. Because Yuki Noshita sucks at initiating. The only time she ever initiates anything, I think, was when her and Yumiko got into the fight the first time in the anime. And I think that was only primarily because Yui was like, Yui had asked her to lunch, and that was kind of her justification. Like, she still suffers from the same problem as Hikigaya, except Hikigaya at least is kind of thinking about it and agonizing over it and really trying to process. Yuki Noshita hasn't gotten that far yet because she's still stuck in the stagnant, like, I have the intention to move, but she doesn't realize. Like, I feel like Yuki Noshita doesn't even understand that she's not moving. And she doesn't understand a lot of her feelings currently. That's the issue. And granted, from what we know that she accepts his requests, and Yui too. And I think this will be the beginning of her change. But up until this point, she's been kind of this pseudo-static, which is like, I want to move, but I can't. I don't know, what do I do? Like, she's kind of stuck in this shit. Like, I know after this I'm going to take like 6 steps and then go to the right and to the left and shit. But she can't figure out that first fucking step. That first step is killing her like a motherfucker. It's ridiculous. But just getting back to Yui, it's like, Yui's level of importance was just as high as Hikigaya's here. See, because that's how Yui doesn't necessarily get it any better than Yuki Noshita, but the difference is what makes Yui special and makes her importance so integral is that she's the one who has the biggest urge to get through. Like, the problem on both of Hikigaya's and fucking Yuki Noshita's side is that they don't realize that they want to get through and that they want to get closer, but they accept certain aspects of it. So, like, they're broken in some aspects, open enough to where Yui can kind of touch them, but, like, she can't really pull them out of the shells that they're in. Hikigaya, between Hikigaya and Yuki Noshita, Hikigaya has, in more than one occasion, at least given Yui something to grab, to pull on. And even then, it's not like he's giving her a lot, but he's giving her enough where it's like, and that's why we have a lot of scenes where she, like, even the scene before with the student council shit, it's like, you know you fucked up, Hickey. You know there were better ways to approaching this, but this is only a good thing in terms of you, because for you to do this in this way is probably better than you've done anything else. So it's like, that's why she congratulates him. It's the same shit. Like, Yui's purpose is only really worth anything when she has something to grab onto, which is the flaw in her character. She sucks. She has almost the same problem. She can't really take action. It's kind of like what you guys said a few episodes ago. They can't take action until a problem is there. Meaning, I think Yui probably recognized there was a problem probably the first one, but she sucks at just like, she kind of sucks at the same thing. They all suck at taking the first step. Yuki Noshita's especially fucking bad at it. And then after taking that step, Hikigaya and Yui will at least kind of like keep going a little bit. Yuki Noshita just fucking stagnates. Like, she'll kind of jump all over the fucking map. Like, it's like what it was in the first season, where it's like, you have a personality issue, and you have this issue with Sagamine that you don't know how to handle, and so she'll kind of just be stuck in an area. And I think the one sentence that really brought a lot of this shit home is like, no matter what happens now, there's no guarantee that you guys are the ones that are going to help her. Or vice versa. Like, you guys may fix yourselves in the future in various different ways. It doesn't even have to be each other right now. But I think the whole point isn't that that Hikigaya is the one, or Yui is the one, or Yuki Noshita is the one. It's the fact that they want each other to be that ones for them. Like, and that's kind of the bitch of it all. It's like, and a lot of people have already talked about this, about how the light novel probably, if it's going to keep to its name, will probably have a bad ending because of it. And in this series, a bad ending is literally them all going their separate ways and just fucking fixing themselves over time, because then it just kind of makes it feel like you watched a fucking show that outlines that no matter what fucking happens, things will change, The difference is they may not change with the person you wanted them to. And I'm like, so that just fucking depresses me. But it's a sad truth of the world. It's just kind of hoping, I kind of hope he doesn't, if it's going to be a bad ending, I hope it's like a tolerable bad ending. Not like fucking Kids on the Slope dumb bad ending. Because that was a fucking annoying ending. That was just a stupid ass ending. Getting off of that. What else can I really talk about? Because like the next episode is going to be great. Primarily because I know what's going to happen. We get 2 scenes. It depends. If I'm right, this will probably just be the wrapping up of the student council stuff. But they may do, from what I heard, like some stuff getting into the next part of Volume 9 has a lot of different shit in it. We still have like one little arc section to deal with, which will get into some other character issues. And by the way, did anyone notice the ending of the opening of this episode and what's different about it? I think I say it in the live reaction. Keep that in mind because that has some relation. I mean, considering the way the season's been pushing the character, you're kind of expecting it to. But the fucking scene was done beautifully. This, if anything, was the biggest emotional growth for all of them. And to me, ironically, I will say, even though this was probably a bigger growth for Hickey, this will probably mean more in the future for Yukinosha than him. Primarily because Yukinosha just needed to know that he was willing to be vulnerable and weak and like have his arm reached out for her. Because she felt, you gotta remember, like last week, she gave up on him. So the fact that she went through this was just like, yo, he still wants to put in the effort, and it's ridiculous. But fuck, man. Great fucking episode. Niggas want to break down in tears. Fucking beautiful. Anyways, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been Terrell Game Vlogs. Vlogs again from your boy Terrell, and I will catch you peeps later. Yo!